Good morning, all, and welcome to the African American Chamber of Commerce of Central Florida, virtually, of course. Welcome to our morning webinar, Are You Online? How Having a Website Can Drive Revenue. You all are in for a treat this morning because Reginald Parks is extremely knowledgeable and speaks at a level that you and I, who may not be website gurus like he is, can understand. By the end of the hour, you will be coding. Maybe not coding, but you'll learn a thing or two. Reginald Parks is the owner and creative director of Reality Marketing Group, LLC. Reginald hails from Raleigh, North Carolina, and with RMG, his sole focus is on marketing and impact through innovative design and marketing methods. His launches of several businesses and involvement in national and community organizations. Reginald attended North Carolina State University and received his master's in business administration at Herzing University through a partnership with our chamber. He received certificates from both Harvard and Cornell University. So if that's not convincing enough, Reginald is a life member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, and Reginald is also a member of the African American Chamber of Commerce of Central Florida. In fact, he does our website, so trust me, today you are in good hands. Reginald is also a member of the Orlando Economic Partnership, Young Professionals Advisory Council, now known as YP Next, and he serves on the advisory board of the Orlando Sports Foundation. He's a proud member of the Young Professionals Group for Second Harvest Food Bank, a very busy man. So Reginald, I appreciate the time that you have carved out for us this morning, and I won't hog any more of it. Take it away.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining. Thank you, Bibi, for that introduction, and I look forward to being of help to everyone, hopefully with this presentation, and even further beyond that. As she noted, I've been a member of the Chamber probably since 2015, 16, I believe, and I've been helping with the website at the Chamber, and I've been an active member, and I hope that everybody else has been able to be active throughout their time. But what I want to do is, of course, talk today about making sure that everybody's online, leveraging that, as well as kind of how that will be of help generating ongoing revenue. I'm going to hop right on in there. All right, hopefully everybody can see everything. So today we're going to talk about, as she noted, and as you all are here, kind of asking that question: are you online, and why having a website can drive revenue? Everybody wants to drive revenue and garner more and more sales, of course, through having a website and through having all the marketing material that you have out there. And websites are by far a leading catalyst for that, for sure. So making sure that you have that web presence and making sure that you have a place that can continually generate revenue and generate leads and so forth is very important. So there's no better time to have a website, of course, as you all know, with the way the world is currently, and I don't see it changing too much, as it already was going towards a place where everybody is online and using their mobile devices and so forth, as you all know, to find things. With more and more people going online to find what they need to make purchases and to find information, websites are more important than ever. Unfortunately, through the last year or so, we've had a global pandemic, of course, but there's no reason to not use this time to kind of continually build your web presence and still continue to grow your business online and elsewhere. I know I actually led a webinar earlier in the pandemic about just continually and reevaluating your business, and hopefully you had the ability to do that. And this is kind of a second tier to that, as far as reevaluating your web presence and making sure that you have the right tools online, which is where everybody is more than likely finding you throughout this time, regardless of your industry, regardless of what you're doing and selling, whether it's product, business to business, and so forth. So I already did this one. Who am I? Like Bibi said, I'm originally, I went to North Carolina State, born and raised there in Raleigh. I went to Herzing. Actually took advantage of opportunity, like you said, with the chamber. We had a partnership with Herzing University and got my master's there. And then I got a marketing strategy certificate at Cornell. I am the owner of Reality Marketing Group and creative director and lead all of our projects when it comes to web and beyond. It's been 8+ years in marketing, strategy, and creative. And I also have a site, which I'll probably put this on if we record it, Real Top Tips, where you can go and kind of learn some basic items on starting a website, how to market, things like that. So that may be somewhere you can go beyond this after we have some Q&A, of course. And in short, I build business brands and their online presence. We've done over 100 web and marketing projects throughout the years in which I've been a part of a Reality Marketing Group. Some of the brands that we work with, one, of course, you probably recognize, we've did the website for the chamber years ago and continue to be a strategic partner there to make sure that you all are getting what you need online, as well as getting to things like this that are hopefully helpful to building and developing your business. We've worked, of course, with marketing and branding of larger brands like McDonald's, the city, University of Florida, Lennar Homes, and beyond. So we've had the opportunity to be a part of a lot of different brands and see a lot of different industries. So hopefully my experience will be able to help you all as we talk about developing a website and being online and just learning to make sure that not only you're there, but make sure that you're truly putting a footprint and make sure that people are getting to you. We're going to talk about that a little bit now. So this is a very vague and statement that everybody talks about. Of course, every business needs a website. That's just point blank, and that's literally what you have to have in today's world is a website. And that's been just general principle for businesses. Before COVID, of course, and just as the world continually turns to more of a digital direction. So having a strong online presence, particularly a website, can make or break generating revenue. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The quality of your website also impacts results. So we're going to talk about not only having just a website or having a web presence or web pages or however it may be, or the initial steps for you, but we want to make sure this is a dialogue that at the end, I'd love, for questions, and we'll talk about that kind of questions and items about having a website, the steps and more. And what it's saying, not only that you need one, but without saying going how to go about it is we want to make sure that we're not only saying that you need one, but how to go about it, some of the platforms you could use, et cetera, and things like that. So we'll talk even more. So, why you need a website in today's world, and a lot of this is going to be kind of a reoccurring. If anything, I hope that even those who already know a lot of this information maybe are just kind of given that extra nudge, if that makes sense, to continue and build that web presence, or even just to start, because that's a big part of everything is just starting. That's usually the biggest step is the first one. And once you know that you can take that first, you continue to climb those stairs to success. So that's what we're hoping to do, even with this presentation. For those who are like, I know some of this stuff for sure. So why you need a website in today's world, credibility and brand recognition. That's going to be a very key element in building your ongoing and growing customer base. Lead generation and traffic, which is the main thing, you want to make sure that it's doing for you. That's what's going to generate revenue, going to get you calls, going to get those leads in, going to make sure that you're getting the right customers or getting customers in general. And then, of course, creating that funnel from your website to your sales and through those initiatives. Thirdly is one that people don't talk about as enough is customer service. So I want to make sure that we're creating a platform that allows for you to do customer service and have a true user experience for those who are coming to your website. And then, of course, lastly, but not least, of course, leveraging the digital marketing and supporting other marketing, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are going to land on your website or land on your web presence, regardless of how you market to them. So we want to make sure that you're not only, or you're not spinning your wheels on all the other marketing. And then once they get to your website or they can't get to your website, you essentially are kind of, burning the midnight oil for no reason when it comes to your other marketing assets. So we want to make sure that all your other marketing is leading those people to your website or leading them to a generation or a lead generation mechanism that allows you to generate revenue. So first one, of course, we're going to talk about credibility. So you ever, this is just a kind of an open question, of course, as I'm not sure if anybody's verbally up here, but if you ever went, online to find a business and just couldn't, that that happens a lot, unfortunately, and we don't want to be those businesses because what were your thoughts? Your thoughts were more than likely, are they even a real business? Is this legitimate? That's usually, like, honestly, the first thoughts that kind of go through your head when somebody sends you or even talks about a business, and then you're more than likely going to Google. I mean, Google has become a verb in our current day. So people are going to go and Google you, search you, Bing you, whatever it may be, depending on their phone, and they're going to confirm legitimacy. So that's the first step, is forming that credibility and aligning yourself with the brand. So when somebody gives you a business card, they say, "Oh, I'm Reginald Parks from Reality Marketing Group." Your website's usually on that, or your email address. They're going to Google you. They're going to look up that and make sure that it's all consistent with what you just handed them, what you're talking about, and then gives them a deeper explanation of what you do, how you do it, and so forth. So websites confirm legitimacy. That's simple, simple there. They create trust in your customers as a bulk of your potential customers will search on the internet to find research on your business. I mean, most people are going to search immediately and say, "Oh, that's Reginald Parks from Reality Marketing Group. Let me look them up. What have they done before? What did I not actually get to discuss with him in person or via a Skype or a Zoom meeting like we're doing now?" And like I said, it's important that you connect the brand cleanly to build trust. I may hand you a business card. You then see the logo online. You then see our reputable and the things that I talked about with you here today, some of our past clients. And then you then may garner trust. Okay, this is a credible resource for me to do my website or for me to do the services in which they render. And then go from there to then, and we'll talk about the functionality, of course. From there to then to talk to me, or then to give me a call, or however your lead generation works. Send me an email, put in a quote for the type of floors you want, or put in a booking for a photography session, whatever that may be on your end. That's exactly what we want to make sure we build a credibility to lead to. So in short, you want to make sure you're creating a straight line to trust. So somebody will receive your business card, or somebody may learn about your business, and immediately they're going to go to your website, or immediately they're going to go to your online presence, whether that be a landing page, website, things like that. And you want to create that straight line that goes to trust and then goes to investment, beyond trust. So anything that is not creating trust is making a detour to fear. And that's just general, how people feel when it comes to investing in something that they feel won't have a return on investment, or feel like they may be wasting their money, or feel like this isn't a credible resource. There's only really those two directions. There's trust and there's fear. And unfortunately, by not having a website, or not having a platform that you've invested in, shows that you may not invest in them as a client, or it shows that, okay, this is somebody that I can't 100% trust. So there's only one other direction I can go, and that's fear. And hopefully that your competitors are creating, if they're creating something that leads them closer to trust and investment, unfortunately you lost the customer before they may have even called you, or may have even put in a request or inquiry. So you want to make sure that you're directing them directly to trusting your product, trusting in what you do, and then of course call to action to lead generation, and a call to action to generating that revenue within the trust. Because beyond, like I said, beyond trust is investment. So in short, 97% of people learn more about local companies online than anywhere else. I mean, that's 100% pretty much. We could have said 110%. It really, as that number continually grows, one of one. So most of us are small or local businesses. And we want that traffic. We want people to be searching, specifically what we do and find us, or simply searching our company and seeing that we have good reviews, that we're doing a great job. I mean, there honestly, um, there's really not that much of a difference between yourself, a company with, or a solopreneur, a company with five employees, a company with 10, a company with 1,000, when it comes to online. So you're allowed to truly showcase yourself in a way that highlights the greatness of your company, regardless of size, and that local competitiveness and being a great local resource is always going to drive revenue. So you want to make sure that you have that research, or you have that resource, and people are finding local companies, regardless of size, and seeing that they're reputable, they're getting those leads based on their credibility, based on their website, the aesthetic of their website, the functionality of the website, the customer service, which we're talking about, all of that right online. So you want to make sure that you're 1 or 2 clicks away, whether they search you organically or whether they found your name or whatever it might be, because 97% of people are going to look you up and find and learn more about you immediately online. We want to make sure that they're finding out and loving what they're learning, and not vice versa. So this is clearly our main objective, is leads and traffic. So we want to make sure that we are generating those leads, and we're talking about revenue. So leads, of course, as everybody knows, as entrepreneurs or as business owners or as lead personnel in their companies, that leads turn into sales and they turn into revenue. So we want to have as many leads as possible, a good leads, of course, that turn from traffic to leads to business and to revenue. So isn't that what every business wants? The internet and mobile devices create more leads daily than any other source. So if you're on the internet, that's the starting point to just be there, to make sure that you're in the right place, in that location, to be there. And then, of course, creating a website and creating a platform that aligns with everything that you're doing and creates revenue through all of the prior items we noted, credibility, and so forth. So websites create finding point for your business. Like we just noted, it creates that one location. It's right in your pocket. My cell phone's always an inch or two away. I can search the internet and find one of your local businesses in a few moments. And creating a site that generates leads through forms. We talk about that kind of lead generation and making sure that once they get there, it's functional for them to sign up for whatever it might be that you're selling, or to make a purchase, make it simple. And also search engine optimization, which everyone may know, or you may know as SEO, and other forms of lead generation, creates revenue that's potentially not being earned without a site, or without a site that is seen as credible. So what I mean by that is, by creating a website that generates leads, you're essentially working without working. I mean, that allows, you want your website to work for itself to some extent. So while I'm sitting here maybe talking, there may be a few people on my website right now, or on our company site, looking at what we do and getting some questions answered, seeing the credibility of what we provide, the services that we do, and so forth. So those leads are being created even while we're doing other work, or helping other clients and so forth. So you want to have that platform, and create some things that may not have been there without you having a website, without you having a platform that serves as another arm of your business. And it serves as additional sets of employees. Each page could be kind of an employee talking about that particular portion of your industry, or portion of what you do, portion of your services, I'm sorry, and things like that. So think of it that way as well. Valuable website can reach those, like I said, you may not be reaching with other forms of marketing and partnerships. So you may be reaching those, with marketing that you're doing. You may be putting Facebook ads out, Google ads. You may just be simply, joining, like you're part of the chamber. So people are finding you there on that website. People are finding you maybe in the paper. I'm not sure what type of specific marketing you're doing, but it helps reach those that you may not be reaching specifically with those. And also, it not only does that, but it creates a location for them to go from there, that of course creates leads as well. So, and users, as you know, and you all probably do every day, you're comparing multiple businesses online and selecting a valued partner for services. So you're going online, let's say plumbing business A, plumbing business B and plumbing business C, you're going to all three of those websites and saying, okay, plumbing business B actually looks like the business in which I want to, work with. They also have the pricing here that's very simple for me to see. It's very simple for me to fill out a form and know what's going on or know what I want to inquire about, etc. And they stand out in comparison to these other two businesses that I'm comparing them to. And people are doing that on a daily basis because it's, like I said, it's right at your fingertips to do so. So you want to make sure that you're standing out and make sure that you are creating a user experience that leads them. All roads leads to trust, and trust leads to investment. So, and we're going to clearly kind of repeat that as we go on. All right. So that, making sure. Yeah, so we're generating the leads. You want to make sure that you're pulling in the right people. You're truly, pulling in individuals that are going to be doing business with you, create revenue, and you want to make sure that your platform or your website is doing that. And that's exactly what it is. This magnet is going to attract the right people, going to attract those that at least what you want to make sure is when they do come to your website that there's some kind of magnetism to, okay, this is the right place. I'm in the right place. I'm going to bounce around, learn a little bit more. You're not going to, unfortunately, if you are, that'd be great. Get 100% leads. Everybody who lands on your site is a lead. We hope so. But the idea is to get as many of those as possible that are in kind of your spectrum of individuals who align with the type of business you want to do. So we want to make sure it's a magnet for those and that they're able to not only function, but make a purchase or however it is that you generate revenue there on your site. So they say in 2021 that mobile devices will influence more than 1.4 trillion in local sales. So that being said, I mean, I hope that everybody at least gets their 0.1 trillion. And when it comes to mobile devices, online devices, and things like that, you want to make sure that you're at least eligible, making sure that your website and the platforms you're using are mobile friendly, because a lot of people are using their cell phone, and we want to make sure that you're eligible, like I said, for those leads and people to make sure they're able to buy into your local business, and you can generate those local sales. Because as you know, there's so many transactions happening online, whether that be someone buying from an e-commerce store or someone looking online to see what type of services you have or to book you for a speaking engagement, whatever it might be, whatever type of business that you have. There's a lot of money on the table when it comes to somebody searching and finding your business. You don't want to leave there by not having a good web presence or simply having something that may not be seen as credible. Maybe your competitor has a great website or even just a simple website. Let's say they have a simple website that informs their individuals that are visiting it about what they do, how they do it, and so forth. And you may have an Instagram page or a Facebook, and maybe one of your visitors sees that credible than having not those things, the platforms in which you have, but also a website that leads them into answering questions and so forth, something that's more prepared for all of that stuff that really aligns with your business. So you don't want to miss out on any dollars that kind of cross the table. Don't want to leave any money on the table, as they say, when it comes to lead generation and revenue, as there's a lot of money that's being transacted not only online, because these are this 1.4 trillion. A lot of it is brick and mortar and sales directly right there online. But you could potentially lose out on a customer who is a long-term investment of you or a long-term partner that helps you generate, or even an RFP, as some I know do a lot of RFPs and things like that. You want to make sure that when a prime vendor, if you're not, you may be the prime, can come and say, okay, this is a great partner for this particular project based on what they've done before. It's your online resume, and there's money on the table when people cross that resume and check you off to assign you to a job or make sure that you're going to sell your product to them. So another thing, and I know I'm bouncing around, and we're going to talk about a few different things. I don't want to hold you guys too long. I know everybody has to kind of get back to their business and so forth, and maybe working on that website that they're building out or getting done. But customer service is a thing that is looked over a lot when it comes to a website also. How many questions can be answered on your website or on our website should be something that you ask yourself. Because give your current and potential customers answers and service even when you're not available is very important. I mean, having that website, having that web presence, essentially is it can serve as a customer service side of your business. Like I was saying, these pages serve as additional employees, even if you're a solopreneur or have multiple people who work for you or a corporation. You go to a website and you learn a lot of information about what they do, how they do it, processes, facts, or FAQs. All of that type of information can live there on your website in a clean way that allows for people to have that trust, and trust leads to investment. So information about your services and pricing is always important. Information about hours. These are all basic things that can be on your website and live on a page to contact you that allow you to increase internal productivity without using valuable time during the day. So you may not have, an hour or two every day to just field questions that could easily be on your website or easily be on your web presence. So we want to make sure that we're leveraging our time correctly, as we are small businesses for the most part, or businesses that, we have our own things that we have to do throughout the day. So that allows you to have a customer service arm that may not be there currently. And you want to make sure, if you do have a website now, that it is doing that. Or is it answering those questions that people are asking, answering those frequently asked questions to increase your internal productivity for all the people who work for you or work with you in your business. And it makes the user experience better when things can be found and known without even calling. To be honest, a lot of people, if not everybody, I mean, you saw the 97% number there, they're going on their phone to find a local business and they're saying, okay, they sell what I'm looking for. How do I get it? What are the shipping, the shipping stipulations, or how fast can I receive this? All of those questions are being answered right there on websites, right there on individual websites, e-commerce websites, your business's website. And if they're not, you should make sure they are being a lot of that. So that way, individuals build even more trust when they have answers. Um, and updates, announcements, news, and more available are more available right at customers' fingertips. So you can talk about all the amazing things you've been doing, as you see on the chamber website, news and highlights, and member highlights and things like that all the time. It really showcases and builds even more credibility with showcasing what you've done and how you've done it, and it really just kind of says, okay, we're active and we're engaged with our industry and what we're doing and how we're doing it. So not to mention potential added functionality that helps with inquiries and services. So we talked about, forms and people being able to go to your website and say, okay, not only am I here and I'm learning things, but how can I ask a question? And maybe this form says, okay, I want a wood floor. I want this size wood on my floor. I want this. And you already have an informed inquiry that you receive on your end that allows you to then generate what is a hot lead, or already have that hot lead generated into revenue. So all of that is amazing when it comes to customer service, and all of these items tie directly to your revenue stream coming from your website and coming from your business in general. So as we talk about customer service, you may not have a staff on call to answer questions. Think of your website and make sure that you're leveraging your website as that. Um, you may have a simple text or item where you can chat, or online side chat where it may message them a few things that says, okay, would you like to inquire about this? Or even as a smaller thing, like I said, just having a contact page or information page about what you do, how you do it, the processes in which you complete what you do. That serves and can serve as your customer service. I mean, I know some people get frustrated, but at times you may go to even bigger corporations' websites, and online is the only way you can get answers. And it is a lot of valuable and great answers that are right there online. And what happens is you get all the answers right there online. And then by the time you do call, or by the time you actually interact or make a purchase, you're very informed about their services, about what they provide, and all of that. So that's very important. And of course, lastly but not least, we're talking about marketing. So where are you sending people? Where are you actually sending people when you inform them about your business? You're probably sending them to your website, either directly or indirectly, or whatever web presence that you have on it. So does your website support your other marketing and lead generation mechanisms? Meaning, if you're handing someone a flyer or you're promoting yourself on another website or promoting yourself on Facebook and so forth, is it connecting to your website and that will actually generate leads and revenue? And even if you don't currently have a website, ask yourself that question. Where are you leading people that will actually turn them into customers? Whether that be a brick and mortar or wherever, you have to realize that the web is a very, very big catalyst for that. So people are still going to potentially search you and either find or not find you on the web. And that may be giving your leads to other customers. So make sure that you're maximizing your ROI with a functional website that allows your customers to connect with you after seeing other marketing, other locations that you're marketing on, whether it be a handbill or flyer, or whether it be you're in the chamber and someone clicked on a link. Let's make sure that you're leveraging and getting your best return on investment on those type of things, and then allow your company or firm to leverage traffic to other locations. Like I'm saying, whether they're going to a Facebook page or your Google listing or wherever it is, you want to make sure that you can have a call to action to go to your website and learn more and really leverage that traffic as well, that organic traffic or that paid traffic that you're investing in. Digital marketing and localized ads can be used to leverage the biggest search engine. So those ads that you're buying, you're able to leverage Google, you're able to leverage Facebook, you're able to leverage Bing, whatever it may be, the different types of search engines or things that are getting millions of people in traffic. You want to be able to leverage those by someone simply clicking and going to your website, and you getting a percentage of those people to come over and maybe make a purchase. And that lead generation, like I said, leads turn into trust, and trust turns into investment, and everybody wants a part of that $1.4 trillion that's being spent online potentially this year. So 4 out of 5 consumers use search engines to find local information. That's just, we kind of talked about that, back to that 97% who's going to look you up. They're using those search engines to find local information about what you do, how you do it, local information about things in general. And if you are kind of in that wheelhouse of keywords and so forth, you're gonna win off of that. You're gonna potentially generate revenue off the fact that you are online and you are within these search engines by default. So um, in short, I mean, you want all of these different items, your email, these e-blasts that you're putting out, your Twitter, your social media, your adding people on LinkedIn, whatever it might be, to lead people back to your website or lead people back to your lead generation and revenue source, or that's creating those leads that create revenue. So make sure that they are going to a place online, which is usually a great website that they can trust and that they can easily have a call to action to invest. So that's what we really want to make sure your marketing all connects, and your marketing and your website is a very big part of your marketing and your ongoing marketing plan and strategy. So talked about all that, and I won't hold you too much longer. Talked about all that, but how? That's the question. It talks about all the different things, the credibility and your marketing and so forth. But how do we do this? So, question or a comment may be: we have a website already, and it just is not cutting it. And so, hopefully, some of the information that we just talked about is allow you to kind of think about and go in depth a little bit more about how your website is working, and maybe add some key elements and make sure it's doing what you want it to do. And then maybe we have or we don't have one. And where do I start? We're going to answer a few of those questions in short in the next slide. So hopefully there's somewhere to kind of start thinking about all the things we just talked about, and then also just thinking about some keys to a good website. So what are some keys to a good website? Some of these items are very straightforward, visually pleasing. So you want to make sure when someone comes to your website, they see and they feel like this is nice. You've invested in the website. It looks good, and it's something that really represents your brand. It represents your brand and your customer. I mean, your customers can trust it. Like I said, trust leads to investment. So people like to see how great a company you are. Literally see it. And the user experience is very important, making sure that it's very easy and seamless to move around and is visually pleasing. Actually, within 2020, I believe it was, Google actually started adding value to aesthetic. So not only do you want to make sure your website is functional and has all the information on it, a lot of people used to just load their website up with keywords. They're actually adding value to the aesthetic and making sure that it's available on all devices, making sure that you can not only pick up your phone, you can pick up your iPad, you can pick up everything and see, and it functions correctly and it looks nice and the pictures are high quality. All of that is actually being added to search engine optimization. Secondly, is just functioning. You want, if you have a good website or it looks nice, but it doesn't function or it can't generate, or you click on a link and it goes somewhere that doesn't work, that's not going to help you. That's going to determine, or that's going to deter. To make sure that it does what you need it to do. Whether that could be something simple, just generally market. That could be making sure that the forms work that generate leads. Very simple, or just email sign up or e-commerce and purchases. Whatever it is, we want to make sure the minimum viable product works and it generates revenue on a daily basis for you or generates leads. Thirdly is the search engine optimization, which we talked about a little bit. And that includes where you're hosting your site, making sure your site is fast, making sure you're utilizing keywords, making sure you have a good domain name, or something that's easily found or that links with your business and more. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into search engine optimization behind the scenes, and just things you can do up front, like purchasing the right domain and getting the right hosting that really allow search engines to crawl your website correctly and get everything that you need out of it, even if it's a small website. And then just always having up-to-date information and branding. So when I hand somebody a business card, you want to make sure your logo and your colors match. It's up to date. It has what you've been doing, what you have done, the type of services that you currently provide, not things that you may not. You don't want to field inquiries about things you don't even do. And make sure you kind of have a content management side of it where you're just continually managing that content and making sure it is up to date and able to make adjustments, whether yourself or whether that be somebody who's more on the web development side, very easily, and make sure your business is always dynamically moving online, as well as this how it is out and about at your brick and mortar, or out and about at your business in general. So make sure you're managing that content in a way that showcases everything that you do and how you do it. And those are some of the basic things. If anything, if you screenshot this particular slide and kind of implemented this into your current website or a website you're building out, you will have a good requirements kind of template there to say, we have a visually pleasing website, it's functional, it does everything we need it to do. Make sure you have the list of those functions. It is optimized and it has up-to-date information and branding on it. You can have a great platform with just this slide alone. And that'd be very helpful to building that out or to kind of starting the process. So with that, that's pretty much all I have. And hopefully this has been helpful when it comes to why to be online, or maybe even that next step for those who have some sort of online presence or do not have any type of online presence. Um, that maybe that's allows you to just give a little push to do so, or to make sure that you're online and you're optimizing and you're just making sure that your online presence actually does what it's supposed to do. And at this time, I'd love to. I know there were some questions that were already there, or someone submitted prior, so I'd love to answer some questions and talk through some of the things that maybe could be helpful.
Absolutely, Reginald. That was really a very great presentation. You have me wanting to have a website for no reason now. So you had an interesting point about having a website in conjunction to social media. I
Mhm.
know right now you can sell so many things across different platforms, but you really pointed out that having a website builds credibility and trust that consumers are looking for. So excellent point there. And this is a hot topic. We do have a lot of questions for you, so you won't be out of here anytime soon. So the first question is, are you aware of just how much money entrepreneurs and businesses are leaving on the table going the social media or word of mouth route by not having a website? Do you know of any studies that have been conducted along those lines?
Well, I mean, the information that I actually presented there, I mean, there's, like I said, 1.4 trillion that's being generated right there online. So without having a website of any sort or any kind of mechanism that creates that revenue for you. So a lot of people who are using social media, of course, who want to have those and leverage those. Those are free platforms to be able to use. But a lot of the individuals on them, of course, and bigger businesses have a link to their website or a link tree to go to different places to then create leads and create revenue. So you're actually leaving pretty much all the money that is out there for businesses online. Like I noted, there was 1.4 trillion that's going to be spent, and that was a projection for 2021. You're more than likely, leaving a heavy percentage of what you could be generating by not having a website that functions and also is able to make transactions like that, if that makes sense. So if you're just on Facebook or just on Instagram, or maybe you're whatever platform that they're using that doesn't kind of create a purchase or a transaction there, you could be leaving, heavy percentages of revenue online. So if someone searched for example, basketball goals, and you sell those, more than likely they're not searching on Instagram. There may be some people who search directly on Instagram for some things, but the heavy percentage of people are searching on search engines for that, and they're pulling up local and or national brands of that and going to make purchases there on their websites. More than likely than going and finding your Instagram page. And even if your Instagram page, let's say it was in the top 4, top 3, top 10 people on that search, the credibility is there when someone has an official website versus someone clicking and going to your Instagram. So even if your Instagram was creating search engine optimization that allow people to go there, it's just not creating those transactions like a website would.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Next question. What are the important things to consider when choosing a web developer, and what is a fair range for those services?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I think we talked about it a little bit there as far as, and let me, oh, I can go back to that, go back to these couple of items. We talked about it's the key things to look at a web developer. Like I said, this slide is going to be very important when it comes to the things you want to get out of your website. So when you're looking at web developers, one, of course, you want to look how nice they're building the websites, and don't let that be the end all, of course. But make sure it is visually pleasing. It does align with how you're trying to look and feel, and aligns with those who are in your industry, even the larger companies. If you are a burger place, you want to look at McDonald's website. If you sell sneakers and sell items for people to wear, you want to go to Nike and see what kind of things that they're doing and align with those type of things. Industry leaders don't necessarily look at just people locally, but even look at industry leaders and how they're visually showcasing and the functionality of their website. So you want to make sure that they're visually pleasing, but not only do you want to make sure that they're making something that's nice, but also talk to them about functionality. Talk to them how are people going to make transactions on this site? How are they going to fill out forms and how are they going to return into revenue for us? And they should be able to answer those questions. They should be able to say, okay, now not only is this a marketing site for us, if if you're going to just do a marketing site, that's fine. But this is actually going to generate leads for us as well. You want to also talk to them about search engine optimization, and at least how they're creating keywords or putting you on Google and so forth. And then make sure you know ways for content management. So always think about think about what content management system you're using, meaning how are you going to be updating? How are you going to be continually changing the site in some form or fashion? And will that be easy? Will there be a way for you to do it, et cetera? So think about those 4 things when you're talking to a web developer. The question was the pricing for it. That all depends on the type of site that you're building. A marketing site, I honestly, a good company, a reputable company, is more than likely not going to sell you a website for any less than around $1,500, $2,000. A site that's going to build you something that has these 4 points on it is going to be around there, even if you're building out something small. But of course, there's ways to do some DIY things, as well as there may be others that are in the industry that do it for less. But long as they're hitting all of these pinpoints and they're allowing you to be able to scale within that platform, you're going to have a great site regardless of the price point. People spend between $1,500, and if you're going further, you may spend $10,000. It's all about what you're willing to invest and making sure that you're getting what you need. Hopefully that answers the question there.
Yeah, I hope that answers that for you, David. Thank you for asking that. Another question, this one comes from Tracy. If you have a business name that is deliberately spelled unusually, maybe there's a missing letter like the weekend, does that make it more difficult for people to find you? And if so, how do you overcome that hurdle?
Yeah, I think that with spelling and name, it's all about all the individual items that you put inside of your website also. So the weekend, like that's a good example. The e missing, of course, if someone searches it, they may find, that they're going to Weekenders page or something else. But at the same time, if you're selling a service and you have keywords within your website, especially just starting, and the more people that come to your site, the more reputable it becomes online, as well as, something like Nike or all that Reebok or any brand that they weren't a big name before they hopped online, or they also have weird names, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of different brands that have a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, they're making sure that the keywords on their website, in their content, keywords on their pictures, and optimizing all of that type of stuff, as well as making sure they're generating traffic to continually move up the rankings in Google, whether that be organic or making sure that you're, having that website on your pages and things like that. That is always going to be helpful, regardless of how your name is spelled, for sure. So hopefully that answered that question a little bit too. But you shouldn't, definitely don't let that deter you. Make sure that you're putting it on your pages, your page titles, and things like that, what you do. So let's say I was XYZ company, that's literally our name. Let's say that was my name. If whatever my service is, make sure that that's throughout the page in a way that's pleasing to the content, in a way that your actual site map reads that we do XYZ, or we do service A in those keywords and things like that, so that when people search it, it doesn't matter what your name is. It just more so matters that the content on the page speaks to what you do, and that all the stuff that you're doing is showcased correctly.
Okay, great. So Ray and actually Michelle has a similar question. They both have established websites already. However, do you offer SEO, social media blogs, some type of maintenance on the sites? They love their site, but they're just not happy with the hosting.
Okay, so with hosting and things, yeah, we actually provide hosting. We definitely do evaluations when it comes to SEO, and it comes to just overall evaluations of your site, making sure speed, making sure, of course, very simple things like the functionality and so forth. Social media is a very key element, so we want to evaluate all of the pieces that touch your website. We do evaluate that and have strategic partners and people on our team that can look at your social media and really reevaluate and really put you in the right direction. Yeah, we do pretty much anything and everything when it comes to creative. And it comes to making sure that your website is what it needs to be to generate revenue. That's our whole ballpark. This presentation is really kind of what we do. Not just create nice websites. We want to create a website that functions better than your current website. Like you say, you have an established one, but you're having some issues. We want to look at ways to make it better, whether that be changing things on the website or rebuilding it or whatever it might be, or just looking at it and saying, this needs to be adjusted. The way that this particular backend item is making your website go slower and so forth. So for sure.
Awesome. Some people in the chat are asking for your information, Reginald. So are you going to have a slide about that in a
For sure. For sure. Actually, I'll put that up now.
Oh,
Yeah. On LinkedIn is where I am, Reginald Parks. MBA is that. And our website is realitymg.com. And you can find me on pretty much everything at Reginald Parks. That's my tag on everything. Got that early. So yeah, on Instagram, Twitter, and all pretty much anywhere you search Reginald Parks, you should be able to find me. And hopefully we'll be able to connect and be able to help any others talk about it. Maybe even have some future things like this. I know that we're hopefully going to do some more things in the future with the chamber that you guys definitely want to look out for. So um, definitely connect with me, and I look forward to helping as many as I can, personally and with our company.
Absolutely, Reginald. We are moving forward with a couple of projects with him, so please stay tuned on news about the chamber on our social medias. A couple more questions, Reginald. You are the website wizard, so they're rolling in. And please, if you have any more questions, now would be the time to chat. Someone wants to know, and you kind of touched about this a little bit, how do they get their business at the top of Google searches centered around the particular goods and services that they sell?
Yeah, that's the tricky one as far as I know that a lot of people want to immediately kind of hop straight to the top when it comes to that. You're going to do a few things to just make sure that you're in that. And we talked about keywords. We talked about making sure you have the right SEO tools. Want to make sure that you have pretty much all the different platforms also. So like I was saying in the presentation, leveraging those other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, all those type of social media and business tools. You want to make sure that you live there on all of those as well. But keywords, making sure that you're locally searchable as well, making sure and looking at the different things that the people who are on that list are highlighting in their pages and content wise. That's going to shift you up. And then of course the more content and continually moving your site, so the more dynamic your site is actually helpful. Like I said, aesthetic is now a part of the judging when it comes to how credible you are to Google. So making sure that your site is aesthetically pleasing. It has keywords in those images and keywords and tags throughout posts. Another way is also posting and making sure that you have a blog of sorts of some or just dynamic content if you're able to do so, or if it makes sense for your industry. That's going to help you continually move up there. To say that you'll be number one in X amount of time or that you'll be number one is very hard. And if anybody's selling you that, that's kind of a hard sell and really potentially not realistic to say you'll be number one, but to continually move up and be on page one is very realistic when somebody's searching in your area by having those things, having a nice website, having keywords and tags within your posts and having posts and updates and things like that, and being in a lot of locations and having a lot of different backlinks to your site, like being on the being in the chamber allows you to actually be more credible on Google because you have backlinks right there inside the chamber's website to your website. So that gives you even more. So so for instance, let's say I'm speaking here today. They may have put our website somewhere on their website. Someone else may have shared my website elsewhere. So there's a lot of backlinks that it's a world wide web. So there's a lot of attachments that are coming back to me on my website. And that bolsters my search engine optimization and it bolsters the crawl of the spider when they crawl your website and crawl the internet to find relevant things related to you. It's going to find you better that way. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. I could definitely kind of talk about SEO a lot. But those are some of the major items that you can do immediately to kind of start that movement up the ladder. If you're on the first page, first two pages, you're already in a good place. So that's a good starting point.
Okay, great. So you heard Reginald, being a part of the chamber will get you number one on Google. So last question, Reginald, are there any type of platforms or particular websites that are often marketed to new business owners or people who just don't know where to start that you just do not recommend, but they're often marketed, targeted toward those populations?
Absolutely. I think that a lot of people are leaning towards social media as kind of their end all location sometimes. And small businesses, it may work and it may just depend on your budget. I think definitely don't. If I would, my suggestion would be to have a real website aside of your social media platforms. So that's one of them. And also try to look into and do your research when it comes to having platforms that are heavily marketed on TV and online. And even when you kind of search, you may see Wix and Squarespace all over the place and stuff like that. But make sure that you do your research on how they search engine optimization, on hosting and on making sure that it's functional for you. Because at the end of the day, you are what you invest in. So if your website is built specifically for you and on a platform, a content management system that allows you to do a lot more, you're more than likely going to invest a little bit more, but you're going to get what you get what you invest in. So those type of websites can be a little bit, they can kind of oversell you a little bit on how great everything will be there. Well, you can make your website look nice, of course, and some people have had a great success on those type of platforms and even just using social media. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're going to a resource that allows you to grow and allows you to generate revenue and like I said, grow and scale, because everybody wants to continue to be bigger and bigger and revenue numbers to go up and up. So those are some items that I would kind of stay away from, or at least do your due diligence on researching and making sure it's the right platforms for you. Because if you can quickly buy into something for $10 or do something for free, you have to really think about that sometimes.
Great, Reginald. Thank you so much. This was a wealth of information. I have a bunch of people private messaging and putting in the chat that this was a great webinar. So I think I'll be contacting you again for some more and bringing you back for our members.
Awesome. I'd love to come back, and thanks for everybody hopping on, and I love to be of help, and hopefully we can continually have these conversations, and hopefully you can take some of this. I believe it's being recorded, so we'll be able to review it and share and so forth to get all of the information and be able to kind of take notes if you weren't able to this time. So
awesome. Is there any other information you want to give to us before I go into my chamber spiel?
No, just like I said, thank you for everybody currently on the screen to connect with me. I look forward to connecting with everybody on LinkedIn, and hopefully at some point in person, and we can do some stuff. But digitally is and on my social media and so forth. I love to connect with you, and I will see you all around and see you in some of these other webinars.
Absolutely. Once again, Reginald, thank you. A virtual round of applause for you. Thank you. And then Sade, if you will lead me into my slides, please. Thank you once again for everyone joining us this morning. Like I mentioned, that was a wealth of information. I learned a lot. We work with Reginald on our website, so we know that he is very knowledgeable. He's very patient. I am not tech savvy, and he's helped us through so much. So thank you again for being here with us. And then thank you, Sade. So if you are not a member and you are interested in becoming a member, you can go to our lovely website at www.blackcommerce.org, email us at info@blackcommerce.org, or you can give us a call. Our phone number is right there. You're welcome to take a picture of this screen. We offer social media promotion. We do grand opening, exclusive events and trainings, just like this one with Reginald, access to leads groups, which are industry exclusive, non-competitive spaces to generate business, as well as social media and newsletter promotion. So tons of benefits in being a member. I know a lot of you today here are. So thank you for joining us. Next slide. New member orientation is the first Tuesday of every month. You will see my lovely face running it. The next one is March 2nd from 10 to 11 a.m. And do not be fooled by the name. It's not just for new members. If you're an old member and you just want a refresher, or perhaps you are on the fence about joining and you want to learn a little more, join me the first Tuesday of every month. Again, the next one is March 2nd from 10 to 11 a.m. You can get the link for that on our website under the upcoming events page. And please, please, please follow us on socials beyond our website. We do have social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we do save all of our webinars on our YouTube. So those will be on there after they are recorded, saved, and uploaded. So please follow us on our socials, connect with us. We're doing some amazing things for Black History Month that you do not want to miss out on, and just stay abreast with what we're doing here at the Chamber. Once again, thank you all so much. It's 9:59, so I won't hold you. We all have work to do. Reginald, once again, thank you so much. And everyone, thank you for joining us today. Have a great week.